I remember the night in agonizing detail. I remember the excitement of being in a new city, ready to begin my first year of college.
I just moved into my dorm, and it was strange and warm and comforting to see your familiar face in this foreign environment. I was happy to be with you.
It had become late and I was ready to go to bed. It had been a long day for you too.
You asked if you could sleep in my dorm, given how late it was.
Reluctantly, I agreed.
I remember laying next to you, stone cold, unable to sleep or move.
This is not where I thought the night would lead to. I was afraid.
I didn't know what was happening. I remember thinking,
This is not what I wanted. I remember asking you to stop.
I lay there in silent shock as I let you violate me.
I was supposed to defend myself. I was supposed to kick and scream, but I did nothing.
I was afraid. I convinced myself that this isn't happening. I was helpless.
I tried to stay as busy as possible and do anything I could to not think about it.
I remember being home for Thanksgiving and Christmas break and feeling nothing.
I wasn't excited to see my family. I wasn't hungry.
I cried a lot.
I would cry at least once, sometimes twice a day.
At night, I would cry until the exhaustion gave me peace. That is what you did to me.
I constantly thought about how I could have stopped you
I wondered what would have happened if I hadn't panicked.
if I had just asked you to leave.
I continue to struggle with this today. I'm still trying to figure out where to go from here and how to deal with what you did to me.
The only thing I know is I will be okay.
I will close these wounds without your permission.
I will talk about it whether you want me to or not.
I will talk about it even though men aren't supposed to get raped.
I will talk until people listen. I was definitely surprised to learn that it was a male in the end, and because it really came off being helpless and not knowing what to do in a certain situation. It just didn't come off as like how many people think men react in those
Right.
situations,
Yeah,
And I really don't know what I would have done if I was in his shoes.
Right. It's important that other guys, survivors are, that we acknowledge that this happened, because that was a big issue.
Sexual assault against males does happen more than people think, and I think males are just afraid to come out and say it.
Do you have anything to say to the person who let you share their story?
Be strong, and there's more people out there that are like you that have the same story, and just because people say something shouldn't happen doesn't mean it's not going to, and when it does, or if it does, that shouldn't make you feel like you need to hide it. Definitely try and talk to people about it. Let people try to help you.
Right. All right, thanks. That was my story that you read.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So thank you for that. It's been something that I've been
Wow,
struggling with, is how to
incredible.
talk about it. With me, it was not having anyone to identify with, not having anyone to talk to. So that's part of why I'm here today, is to say, hey, this happened to me, and it's not totally uncommon. It happens. You're not alone.
When you brought up to your parents, how did they react compared to how your friends reacted?
For some, it was easy to talk to them about it. So my friends were one of the first people I turned to, especially my closest friends, and they were the ones who really initially helped me and really took time to make sure I was okay. It was easy to talk to my mother about it, and we did talk about it, and we have discussed it for some time, but my father was it was hard to talk to him about it, and in a way it was the same thing. I felt that it was hard for him to acknowledge that something like this could happen, and that something like that did happen.
Mm-hmm. What resources did you look for? People did you try and talk to?
The first people I turned to were health professionals, because I thought that they would be able to help me. A lot of what I was dealing with at the time was like mental health related. I was having a hard time processing all the emotion and stuff that went along with it. A lot of the anger and resentment and sadness that I sort of talked about
Mm-hmm.
in the piece, like the overwhelming sadness. And it felt very clinical, like this is something that we're going to treat, rather than like this is something that will heal,
Right. I took a gender studies class, and it seems like whenever males brought it up, it came off more as like, oh, you're just messing around, or like,
Right.
or like even in like movies and stuff like that, like it's portrayed as a joke, when like how can that happen to males? You know, like
Right.
you can't just like push them off, and it's just like no, like, it's more than that. If you were to speak to this person again, what would you say?
The only thing I would really say to that person at this point is that I'm sorry for whatever happened to you in your life that made you that way and caused you to do that, and that it was wrong and it hurt, but I'm not letting the situation, you know, I guess hinder me at this point. I'm trying to grow and move on and learn from it.